Hey, what is going on, guys? So I apologize, this is taking me a little while to get around to reviewing here, sharing this with you. For anyone who's interested in this kit, this is the C.A.T. prototype kit here from Wave. Sort of. It's sort of like I guess the thing that's been like developed by Wave and then produced by this company, Orange Cat Industry is the company down there. But on the back you can see that we have the Wave label there as well. But as you can see just here on the front, you have just an image what the character design is like. Anyway, not what the exact kit is going to look like. It's going to look slightly different from what this illustration shows anyway. But down here on the bottom you can see that this was also, I think, just like a first limited run exclusive thing that you have here. It says Japan only, but basically if you're getting like just like the first run of this kit, it should also include this other stuff. It comes with this extra weapon, this rifle here. Also comes with eye decals and also a blank face option. So like with the Kotobukiya Frame Armor Scrolls kits, it's got the face, eyes and everything pre-printed on there, but this version of the kit includes a face that doesn't have that stuff printed on there, so that means you could use the eye decals to change the expression or something if you want. Honestly, not that really big of a deal, but the inclusion of the extra rifle though is a nice addition to this first version of the kit if you get the first run. So just on the top and the bottom of the box you can see it's just got kind of the same thing there. On the side as well you just have the logos of the character and the company and the illustration of the character there. Then here on the back we can see some images of what the actual kit is going to look like, just basically standing there, somewhat of an action pose there, but nothing really too much in the way of action poses here. It's got this whole cat motif, which I'm not really super into. I'm assuming that probably there's going to be parts in here to be able to build the head normally without the cat ears on there, I'm hoping, but we'll find out here. I mean, a cat obviously is kind of like the thing of this kit, but hopefully you're able to build it less cat-like. And there's some of the accessories. It has a frying pan, a kitchen knife, and then an actual like weapon knife. This little thing here is just saying that you have to switch out the weapon, so it doesn't come with two of these sort of like heat saber style weapons. It looks like you just get one handle and two different options for the blade basically. And that's pretty much it to see here on the outside of the box. Let's just get it popped open. So it's going to pull out of here like this, and it looks like you don't just get one extra face without anything printed on it, you get a bunch of them, so it looks like we got 4 of those. And then these are the faces that are pre-printed. My first reaction to the skin tone color is that it's very pink. I think the skin tone certainly doesn't match this color that we've got here on the outside of the box. We'll take a look at all of the runners individually here in a moment. There you can see like some of the accessory parts, hair parts, and some eye decals. So yeah, I'm guessing these are the water slide decals that are specific to this version of the kit. But and the whole actual separate box here for this weapon, so that's kind of interesting. 1/12 scale armed world. So I'm guessing maybe this is something that this company produces separately, sort of like something like the little armory kits. I'm guessing it's just something comparable to that, but I never heard of this armed world 1/12. But yeah, I guess it's probably just the equivalent of the little armory stuff. So anyway, we'll take a look at that here in a moment, but interesting that that's just in a separate box like that. I want to first take a look at the instructions, but aside from the instructions, here at the bottom of the box is a little advertisement about their next kit, which I just recently got in. You guys might have seen that in my recent Gunpla delivery video. I just recently got this kit in as well, so that's why I wanted to take a look at the cat kit first, and then so we can then check out this kit and see how the company's quality compares between their first and second major release. As far as I know, I've not ever heard of the company before this, so maybe they did produce other stuff before this, but obviously they might have a line of different weapons, I guess. So I don't know about that. Anyway, let's just take a look at the instructions here. On the back just says, "Thanks for your support." That's nice. And then on the front, just kind of simple, nothing really much to see here. It looks like in the manual, you just got the parts list here, and then just gets right into the construction. So nothing really for like sample photos or anything like that. It's pretty bare bones, just right down to business. And then just how to mount it up, and then how to apply the water slide decals there at the end. So very simple. And you also notice that a lot of this is in Chinese, most of this. Some on the outside of the box does have some Japanese on it, but for the most part, a lot of what's in here, like there's some Japanese in here as well. But I think that's just because, yeah, again, maybe this is just the first runner or something, but a lot of this is in Chinese, so I don't know, it's kind of interesting. So yeah, I'm guessing that company, the actual production company is in China, and obviously Wave is in Japan. So yeah, let's just start off by going over the exclusive stuff first. So once again, here is the sheet of water slide decals that are going to be exclusive to this first run of the kit. You got open eyes, just like in regular eyes, and then just kind of a little bit different expressions there, closed eyes as well. That you can apply onto these blank faces. So I guess these are the same faces as you get with like the pre-printed ones, but just without the pre-printing on there. So you do have a little bit different expression on these: open mouth, like I'm happy face, and over here sort of open mouth, a little bit sort of worried face, and the two in the middle look just kind of neutral. There, I guess you do have a little bit of mouth option. Actually, it does have a little bit different mouth there on this one. This one's sort of just like a slightly smiling face, and this one is like a ooh face, like that. So you got those. And then just once again, the weapon here. This does come with its own instructions for that, so just showing how to build that. So yeah, I'm guessing that this was maybe something that was previously sold or is available to buy on its own separately. But it's just labeled Armed World Runner A here, 95 type, and then you have this P01 Armed World. There's a couple of other extra bits up there at the top, as well as just the parts for this. But yeah, definitely really reminds me of a lot of the little armory sort of weapons, so just looks something like that if you ever built one of those. Then just for all the standard stuff included with the kit, then we have just another sheet of waterslide decals, just a few little bits there in sort of like a dark pink kind of color, and then a couple light gray ones, and that logo there in red, which is pretty cool. Different hand options, which look to be pretty much about the same as what you'd expect with a frame arms girl kit, but there's already pre-clipped off the runner there for you. So it looks like you've got open expressive hands, open resting hands, holding hands, and also peace sign hands, it looks like. So that's pretty good. And yeah, for our faces, we got a couple of different expressions there: very happy, mildly happy, slightly worried, and then slightly shocked. I don't know exactly what to call that, but we'll see these on the kit here in a moment. And then runner A here is in a very dark navy color. The construction of these parts looks very, very similar to a Megami Device or Frame Arms Girl type kit, so I'm guessing it's going to be pretty much the equivalent of that. And then runner B here, all of our flesh tone parts, and again, I'll just say, it definitely looks a lot more pink than it certainly looks on the illustration on the outside of the box. Runner C here is in this nice, very light gray, kind of off-white kind of color. And then runner D in this light yellow color, obviously for all the parts for the hair. Runner E in this sort of metallic color here for the knife handle, the kitchen knife, and the frying pan, the cat-shaped frying pan, so interesting enough. Runner F is our two clear orange blade pieces. And then we've got this V plus runner here, which I'm guessing is just other parts for the blade sort of weapon. I'm not exactly sure what these parts are for exactly. We'll find out, I guess, here once we get to building it. And then we've got this clear base. It's not like a clear black kind of base, just for a simple base for this. Looks very similar to what you typically get included with the different frame arms kits. It's a little bit different in its design though, but functionally it looks kind of basically the same. So not really a whole lot there in the box, as you can see. And so I think this kit was not terribly expensive either. I think it was like around 30 bucks. So that seems like about what you would pay for a similar frame arms girl kind of kit, like the Materia or something like that. So not too bad. Let me get it built up, and then we'll see how it compares. Alright, so here she is, and I mean, the building process was simple enough. It went together pretty quickly, and while I do like the design, I gotta say, man, the kit does definitely give off a broke-ass Megami Device imitation vibe. I mean, that's pretty much what it is, so it shouldn't be any surprise that that's what the build feels like and seems like. And so I'm just kind of a little bit feeling like I'm not really sure what this is really for. I don't know. That's not to say it's a bad kit by any means, and I'm not complaining. I'm just a little bit kind of perplexed by it at this point, because basically it's just sort of like a really baseline version of a Megami Device kit. So sort of like in the Frame Arms Girl line, they have like the Innocentia and the Materia, like for examples, which are like the really bare bones kits that like don't really come with any armor or anything. They don't come with weapons or anything, and you're just kind of meant to just kind of, I guess, have them as they are, or load them up with different weapons and things like that. And I guess that's what this is supposed to be, like that, but sort of like for Megami Device, while not being technically for use with Megami Device stuff by name or by brand. But anyway, of course, you don't have to load it up with any other different sort of option parts or weapons or anything, although we do have a couple of little things included in here, which we'll take a look at in just a moment. But you could load it up with more stuff if you want, mix and match the parts. It should be easy enough to do that. We'll try that out here in the review as well. But I will also just say that I am a little bit disappointed that you don't get any option to build the kit without the cat ears on the head. So in other times, like if this was a Frame Arms kit or something, for example, Frame Arms Girl, Megami Device kit, probably you would have the option to just build the hair, some hair parts without these cat ears on there. In this case, unfortunately, you don't have that option. So I'm a little bit disappointed by that, because I don't really care for that part of this design. Also, the shoulder parts are very weird. Even though a lot of this kit goes together like a Megami Device kit, you don't have like the shoulder blade parts on here, and so As a result, the shoulder parts just look a bit strange there at the top of the body, how they're just kind of like plugged straight into there. They just don't really look quite as natural. And shortly I want to try some mixing and matching some parts anyway, so I guess I might as well bring one in here just to show you guys side by side so you can see what I'm talking about there. The kind of the shoulder, top of the body part where the arms plug in just doesn't look quite as natural as on a Megami device kit here. But anyway, all the articulation is pretty much all the same. The neck also is very long. I feel like I wish you had a different option part for the neck that was a little bit shorter. Obviously you can modify that if you want, but I definitely feel like as it is, it's a little bit too long on there. So you have a joint at the base of the neck and then it's just on a ball joint there, but it's really tight. So just be careful with that. I feel like moving that around too much could be dangerous. And while I was in the process of building this kit, I was trying out just posing it, and I found like the whole front and back half of the chest just like kind of broke apart, or just came apart anyway. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. Otherwise, it seems like a pretty solid kit, but if that's gonna like keep breaking apart, then I have a feeling like it's definitely gonna be one that's maybe gonna need some glue just in case. But yeah, like I said, the articulation is gonna be pretty normal. You got the rotation there forward and back at the shoulder. It's just connected via a ball joint that you can bring up all the way really high there. Then you got some rotation at the arm there, a bend at the arm to give you almost a full bend there. It's just a single joint, and then the wrist is just on a hinge, and you can also rotate that there. We've got two joints here in the body, one for the top half here, and then this kind of waist section will also move forward and back a little bit as you move the legs. The legs, like with a lot of the Kotobukiya kits as well, also has a gimmick where that can also slide down a little bit. So you can see you can slide that down just a little bit. That'll give you more movement out to the front. Whereas if you have that plugged up all the way into there, you're not going to be able to bring it up as high to the front. And then the legs just will rotate there at the top, and then the double joint here at the knee to give you a nice full bend there. The ankles will kind of rotate a little bit side to side and then forward and back. For the high heel feet, you do also have the option of just non-high heel feet, just these kind of standard, just really simple basic ones like that. And then just once again a look at the accessories here. The frying pan is silly, and so I appreciate the silliness of it, but I don't really, again, I just kind of don't really know what to do with that. And the kitchen knife as well, just kind of the same thing. I guess it just kind of works as like a knife weapon sort of option part. But then we have the actual sort of like heat blade weapon too, which is also, you can remove this out here, but it's super tight though. I found these parts fit together really tightly, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it out of there. But you can take that out and then plug this in there in its place, which will give you like a longer sort of like barrel there, and obviously a longer blade as well. I'll try to get this out, but it's really tight. There we go. I guess it wasn't that bad. It was just really hard to get it in the first place. Anyway, so there you go. That's how it looks with the longer sword, which is a pretty cool looking weapon, I gotta say. And these are just leftover parts that you have with this that you can't really do anything with, but you can make this, which looks like it's supposed to be like part of a rifle or something like that. I don't think that you can really do anything with this, not that I've figured out. I wondered if you can like use this as sort of like a handle for that, and you can't really do it as is. You'd have to modify it or something, which wouldn't be all that difficult, I guess, if you wanted to sort of like combine this, like minus the blade, turning this into like some sort of gun like that. I don't know, it's kind of cool anyway. And this kind of camera bit here on the top is just on a track that can slide. I don't think also that it can be used with this. Obviously without any modification or anything, you could sort of combine that as well, modify that in some way. But yeah, this is the option weapon that is included just for the specifically first round of this release, and it's a pretty cool rifle. The magazine here at the back can be removed, and you actually have two of those. So you've got a spare one that you could set off to the side or have her like holding in her other hand or something like that. You could do some cool stuff with that. And then you have some options for this where you can remove this part here on the top, and if you prefer, put in this part instead, which will give you a little bit different look there for that. And then we also have a scope, which you can use on as well. You can just slide this onto the track onto the top here. That's also an optional part that you can add onto there. That's very cool. And these parts are tiny, by the way. Building this is not easy to do. But yeah, it's basically like the little armory weapons if you ever built any of those. And then you have another little optional kind of like, I guess, a grenade launcher part that attaches onto here. You just kind of slide the barrel through there. And be really careful with this barrel. It's super fine detail. You actually have a little like cutout detail there at the end of that, which is pretty crazy. I guess that just goes onto there like that for like the fully loaded version of this. Now also, I was talking about these leftover parts, and I think this camera should fit onto the top of here instead, in place of the scope, it looks like. I think kind of works in the same way of just on the sliding track there. So let's just give it a try, and yes, in fact it does. So if you prefer just this camera on there instead of that scope. That's also a pretty cool thing you can use on that. So while it is leftover parts in this kit, don't throw it away because it could be useful with this set anyway. And lastly, 2 tiny little grenades, which I guess are meant to look like they're just ammo for the grenade launcher on the bottom of there. But yeah, you just got these tiny little bits there. Now I was thinking this is basically going to be exactly like a Megami Device kit, but seeing them side by side, this cat is slightly larger than your Megami Device kit here. So I also got a Frame Arms Girl kit, and they seem to be much more similar in the size to the Frame Arms Girl kit, but a little bit different in the construction. The construction is more like a Megami Device, but the size is more like a Frame Arms Girl. Now the construction of some kits will differ slightly, but just for example's sake, you can see the skin tone is not going to match, which is a bit odd. But you can attach on the different arm onto there if you wanted to swap out the arm. Looks like that shouldn't be a problem. Now let's try out the leg as well here. Now the leg is going to be different. As you can see, not only is there just a big difference in how long this thigh part is before you get to the lower part of the leg, but obviously that's not going to work there. So going to our Megami Device leg, now this one is going to fit on here, but the Megami Device leg being much smaller, obviously that's not going to really work either. The size difference there doesn't match, and well, I think the proportions actually do look a little bit more realistic with this leg, just that size. You'll have to do a little bit of work to get that to match up, or without having that weird bit there at the top. Or I guess maybe using some like actual armored leg, not just the bare Megami Device leg, but if you had like the Soul Roadrunner or something like that, that has just like all the armored leg, you could plug it onto here, it looks like. So that should work, but I think some of the different kits go together a little bit differently, so I can't say for sure without checking that all the kits will work on there, but it does seem to be relatively compatible with different Kotobukiya kits anyway. I do just want to also check out the face compatibility, and at least in the case of the Frame Arms Girl face, it's not going to fit as it is on there, and you can see the size is similar, but it definitely is slightly larger in the face there. And as for a Megami Device face, it looks like it's going to be kind of like right about the same size, but again, the connection at the back is slightly different. But again, I know that some of the kits, the connection for the face parts is a little bit different, so if you guys know any Kotobukiya kits that use this same kind of connection for the faces that are compatible with this kit, then let me know. I'll pin your comment down there so people can find out. But as far as I know, I'm not sure if any other different Kotobukiya faces will be able to be used with this cat kit here. Oh no, while I was getting ready to pose the kit, I was going to swap out the hand, and as I was trying to pull this off, it looks like it's going to break that part. So it's time to find out if the Kotobukiya wrist parts are also compatible or not. It looks like they are, and fortunately most of the Kotobukiya kits will include some extra wrist joints in the box with them, and it's really odd that this kit did not, so that's kind of points off for this one, not including any of those extra parts that you typically get from Kotobukiya. And so unfortunately, one other small disadvantage that this has compared to its Kotobukiya counterparts is that simple stand, while it's nice that you do get a little stand included with this, it doesn't have any articulation in it. Basically, the point where you plug it into her back, that can move up and down along the kind of main shaft of the stand there, but it's not on a ball joint, where the Kotobukiya versions are on a ball joint, so you can actually change the angle of that, and then at the base it's connected on a ball joint as well. So with this one, it can only move up and down, and that's all. You can't change the angle of anything, so it makes it just sort of restricts your posing with that included base a little bit. But again, with this, I mean, I just don't really know what to do with this. It's so odd. The things that weapons that it comes with are just odd, and it doesn't really seem to be like designed or marketed in a way that it's supposed to be any sort of like a fighter or anything at all. So the fact that it's including some of the different weapons and things is kind of weird. And it seems my rotating display base has just crapped out on me, so I'm not really sure what the problem with that is, but no more rotating for today. Anyway, that's pretty much all there really is to say about this model anyway. It's kind of fine for what it is. There's a couple of weak points in it that I think you could use a little bit of glue on them, like for example there in the chest. But I mean, there's not anything like really bad about it. It's just definitely not as good as the different kits from Kotobukiya, so I will say that. It's an alright thing if you like the design, if like you're a fan of different Frame Arms Girl kits, Megami Device kits like that, you're like collecting them, and you like the look of this one as well, then I would say go for it. It's not like you're going to be getting like a garbage kit or anything. But I think if you're not like collecting a lot of these kind of kits, and like you're just maybe getting one or two here or there, or looking to get your first one, I would not really recommend this one. I would recommend just getting something from Kotobukiya. But it's an alright option for what it is, and I could definitely see you using this for something a little bit more interesting. But I don't know, let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions guys down in the comment section. What do you think about the kits? And of course, if you have any other questions, you can ask me there as well. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.